Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard the tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. 99.9
KISW, the Rock of Seattle. Got the 10 most common times that we feel like we just cannot say what we really think. I have to tell you something, man. I'm excited for this. I don't have that affliction.
No.
What, you?
Yeah, I really don't.
Okay. Are you being sarcastic? Or?
No, I mean, don't you think I say what I really think maybe way too much?
In some ways, absolutely. But in other ways, no.
Oh, really?
Because there are times where you've said you try and be a pleaser.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
No, but it's not no disrespect. It's because there are certain things where you just pull no punches, and it's like you just. Yeah. And I always respect that. Like you're just whether you agree or disagree, you say what you think. But then there are times like you brought it up before, like where like someone will say, "Oh, you used to say you saw a movie just so you didn't have to deal with the weirdness of someone finding out that you didn't see that movie." Yeah. It's like the little weird things that don't matter that you sugarcoat. The things that
I should sugarcoat.
You don't, which is good though, because those are the real things that people should know the truth about.
And then my wife lives 2 states away. My kids, I don't even think are going to take care of me when I'm old. I probably wish it was the other way around. At least I'm normal and I do sugarcoat stuff. It's just the wrong stuff.
It's the stuff that no one would care if you didn't sugarcoat it.
Yeah. Well, here's we'll see how many of these that I do.
All right.
And the rest of us for that matter. So number one, here's something we sugarcoat. When you have to tell someone what you think of their cooking.
That's a tough one. I've had that happen, and for the most part, obviously I live with someone who's vegan, and so all the meals in our house, she does all the cooking, so all the meals are vegan. I'm not going to be that guy that's like, cook me some chicken. I don't care about your vegan crap. As long as it's good, I don't care if it has meat in it or not. And there's only been like 2 instances where I just wasn't feeling it, and I had to have that debate in my head. I'm like, do I say anything, or do I continue to eat this and I don't like it? It's tempeh.
Yeah, you hate tempeh.
So the first time, tempeh, sorry. Yeah. The first time I had it, I just kind of grinned and bared it, and then I was like, well, maybe she'll never make this again. And then like a couple weeks later, there's something else with it in there, and I just feel like I'm eating cardboard. Yeah. And so finally I was like, it's no disrespect to her, it's just the food. I was like, this is just nasty.
There's not much you can do. If you don't like tempeh, you're not going to like it. You can't really clean that up.
But she was like, I'm glad you said something, because I thought you were fine with it. I'm like, no, I felt like I was eating a human. Like it was just really weird.
I love tempeh.
Oh, it's
and
the worst.
I love you humans.
See, for me and food, it's like if it's bad food, but something that I like, that's when I'll sugarcoat it. But if it's something that like I just don't like, then I'll be like, no, I don't like that, so I don't have to eat it again.
Right, because at least maybe the next time that food that was bad, it might be good the next time.
Right.
So you're willing to give it a shot.
Or like if it's a dry steak or something, I'm like, I'm not going to say that I don't like it, because I do like steak, and then I'm criticizing the cooking.
And just get some A1 and slather it on.
Dude, the worst is I had a boyfriend whose parents were super health conscious, and they would make really fancy steaks and do vegetables with no salt or nothing, no butter.
No fun.
And they had no salt on the table, so it's like I can't ask for salt. Like I could at least discreetly put salt on there if it was on the table, but they didn't do that.
Run in place and sweat on it.
Right? I should have.
You have to put condiments on the table. I can appreciate people not wanting to season the food themselves, but you can't. You can't have guests over and not have butter and salt available.
I agree. What if they're just a household that never has any kind of doesn't have it in the house, so they never even thought to have it? I mean, it's very.
Don't cook for people.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. And my wife laughs at me because she knows when I don't like something, because I go, oh, it's not horrible.
Okay, yeah.
You know, she's
I've had
like
better.
Well, my wife is the kind of cook. She doesn't ever copy a recipe. She just goes by feel. And most of the time, she makes some really great stuff. But she's like an artist in the kitchen. She knows how to fix food when it's bad.
But it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, but it's never the same.
Yeah.
So she'll go, hey, would you like me to make one of those shakes? I go, and then I try it, and I go, this shake's not that good. She goes, I don't understand. You liked it last time. I said, honey, you never make the same thing the same way. So I can't tell you what it was you did the first time, but I guarantee you it's not the same, and you're never going to be able to make it again because you're a mad scientist in the kitchen. And at first it used to lead to arguments, but then she did realize, you're right, I don't make from recipes, so I can't really blame you because it does taste different.
Right. There's a chance it's not going to be good.
Yeah. So every time she makes something for me, it's always different. Well, I love because you get variety, and you know what? Most of the time she's okay. How about this? When a friend asks if you like their outfit.
I just recently had that happen with our boy Danny V.
Yeah.
We were at the Foo Fighters pre-funk thing that they did at the Sea Pine Brewing, where, you know, you could buy Foo Fighters beer. You had the pop-up shop where you could get Foo Fighters stuff and things like that. So we were enjoying some beer, hanging out, and Danny's a big fan of the Sea Pine Brewing brewery, and so he decided to get a zip-up hoodie.
Yeah, they had a Sea Pine one, and I was like, that's the item that I want.
So he gets it, and he has it zipped up, and there's maybe like 6 or 7 of us, and he's asking everyone, does this look okay? And everyone's like, yeah, it looks great. It's not too big on me. No, it looks great. And he looks at me, and I'm just like, dude, you look stupid in it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Steve.
I was like, it's not you personally, but that thing is way too big for you. He was wearing a large, and Danny's a medium, and he's swimming in this thing.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And everybody's telling him it looks good, and I'm like, bro, you're going to go home, you're going to put it on. Even if it shrinks, it's still going to be big on you, and you're never going to wear this again. And it's like a $60 zip-up.
This area of the country, they will not tell you anything negative about yourself. They just won't.
I don't get it, because it's like, I'm not insulting Danny.
No,
in fact, it's a compliment. Like, the sweater that you picked is too big on you.
I'm with you, Steve. I don't understand why you can't just go out and go, dude, that's not you.
And everyone looked at me like I was insane, because everybody was like, you look great. That looks awesome. What a great sweater. Yeah, definitely buy it. And I'm just like, dude, love you, man. You look awful in that thing.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that so much more because, like he said, it was 40, 60, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Like, no.
Yeah, I'm like, you're just going to waste your money. You're going to wear it right now because you're excited you have it and you've had a couple drinks in you.
Exactly.
And then you're going to go home tomorrow and you're going to put it on. You're like, God, I look like a midget in a big man's jacket.
Yeah.
I have I think it's more of a girl thing. They won't tell you if you look bad, and I don't know if it's because they think you're going to get upset or they're thinking you're being catty.
I don't know why that is. Women never get upset when you talk about what they look like in clothes.
But I do have one girlfriend, and she's my shopping girl, and we go out, and I'm like, I put something on. She's like, girl, you look like you've gained 30 pounds in that outfit. Take it off. Like, she's super upfront, will tell me. She'll just straight up be like, no, take it off now, don't buy it. I'm like, but I really like it, don't buy it.
But you're good at that too, because we've been in places on our radio conventions or traveling, and we go somewhere and we've had a few drinks, and I'm like, should I get this? And Vicky's like, you're not, no, that doesn't look good on you.
Yeah.
All right.
You need that
and I
person.
trust her because she's always honest about it.
You need that person.
But then it's also like, if I see something that I think somebody really should get and it's a lot of money, it's like, crap, should I be the good cop or the bad cop? And I'm like, I want you to get it, but it's $100.
She's also good at that because she'll look at me and go, get it. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like,
I just needed someone to push me over the ledge.
Sometimes I could see it in his face. Like, he needs somebody to be the bad cop. I'm like, okay, that's what I'll be today.
How about this when your significant other asks how they look? So there's the how, is this, how do you like this outfit? And then how do I look just in general? That's a tough one to have. I don't know how any average guy gets to tell his average woman how she looks honestly without thinking he's going to get in trouble.
See, I'm fortunate because my wife is way more fashion conscious than me. So I never really had those instances. There's been a couple times I'm like, I'm not really feeling that jacket. But for the most part, sometimes she'll get something on and I'm like, that's amazing. And then all of a sudden she comes back down in a whole new outfit. I'm like, that's nice too. But what happened to the outfit that you were just wearing? She's like, I didn't look good enough. I'm like, no. Like, I was ready to go. Like, this was awesome.
Yeah.
But she's pretty honest with me with my stuff. She's like, that. I'm like, how's this look? She's like, you should go put a different shirt on. Okay.
See, one of the things, and I think maybe Sarah could agree with me on this one, but it's kind of hot when a guy tells you what to wear. So sometimes, like, if I'm doing my nails, I'll take up a picture and be like, which nail polish should I wear? Which shirt should I wear? And having the guy kind of pick it out, it's kind of hot.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, I'm dressing for this evening or whatever.
Yeah, it's
so my answer of I don't care is not a good answer.
A lot of women dig that. A lot of women dig it if a guy orders at a restaurant, knowing that, okay, I know the kind of food you like. Here's what you're going to do. You kind of go, all right, well, he tells me I got to do it. I guess I have to eat it, which is what you want to do rather than you making the choice because you're making them happy. There is a cool thing that women, if you do it the right way, women are like, yeah, tell me what to do. I want to do it. I think with how they look, it's more like the hairstyle or maybe makeup they're putting on, not so much clothes. Because my wife, she dyed her hair red one time. It was horrible on her face. And it was. And I mean, she thought, oh, this is so great. And I'm like, honey, you are not a redhead. This is not a good look for you.
Right.
And, she got mad at me. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I got to look at you. Shouldn't I be the one that gets to say what the heck you look like? I'm the one. You only see yourself when you're in the mirror. Then the rest of us got to look at you all day long.
And she solved that problem by going to another state so you don't have to look at her.
See that? I think this really worked out for all of us. But she was a horrible looking redhead. It was not good. It was like, dude, your skin does not need this matched up with your red. And look, I used to work at TJ Maxx, so I kind of
know redheads.
I know how to talk about how people should look.
Oh yes, you're a fashionista.
I was in charge of the men's department. I know what I'm doing.
I just texted says that's the type of friend you need, the ones that real recognize as real.
Yeah. How about when someone shows you a photo of their baby? Oh, well, Steve's mom won't even let us see his photo. She knew.
Yeah.
Little peanut head.
She refuses to let that picture free. I mean, eventually my head morphed into less of a peanut head. I mean, debatable, but...
Oh, you look amazing now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can tell you're telling me the truth.
Oh, I totally am.
It's kind of potato-y.
That is something I will sugarcoat on. Because there's some people that have some really ugly babies.
I would never tell somebody their baby's ugly.
No,
I will sugarcoat that.
A go-to response is, aww.
I mean, what is the end result? Like, at least when you say, hey, that dress looks bad on you, that jacket looks too big on you, you can fix that. What am I going to be like, your baby's ugly? I would go visit a plastic surgeon.
Or, go exchange it for another one.
Right. Swap it out.
Usually, though, I'd be like, hey, dude, seriously, there are some cute kids that really are ugly. You're in good shape because he's ugly now, so he's probably going to be good looking.
Wow.
I said that. That's not good?
No.
Well, that's a thing, though. You see the cute babies that grow up ugly.
How did they respond to that?
Well, they were not happy, but that's because they're stupid. But then again, they also have an ugly baby, happy. So you're stupid and ugly. I go, dude, you better figure this out.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any winning in that, though. No. What do you get out of that?
I thought I was doing something nice.
I don't think they're going to respect you for being honest about their ugly baby.
Here's why. I know because I would look at it and go, God, if that was my kid, I'd feel horrible that my kid was ugly, and I feel bad all day. So I thought I was helping. Go, dude, seriously, later on down the road, it's going to be great because ugly kids do turn out good looking.
So then 20 years from now, I'd be like, Mommy, why'd you keep me in the basement for the first 18 years of my life? Well, I met this guy BJ, and he said eventually you're going to look good. So I waited until that day happened.
Because I assume they know their kid's ugly.
No, everyone looks at their kid as the cutest thing in the world.
It's their creation, man.
It's like the biological sense, so you messed up.
Dude, there's some ugly kids out there, and I just
don't disagree, but what's the point of telling them that?
Well, they shouldn't ask me. Them. I mean, they go, hey, you want to see a picture of my baby? And I go, dude, no, I'm about to have lunch. Don't. Okay? Jesus, I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see little sloth. Why don't you wait at least until the
little sloth?
I mean, see,
are you feeding it baby roofs? Because you should.
Yeah, seriously, dude. They don't know. They really don't know their kid's ugly. I mean, my God, how do they not know? Your mother knew.
No, she knew.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
I mean, sorry. And by the way, hey, anybody can make a baby.
And I'm proof that eventually you don't get better looking.
Dude, you're better than probably the picture because she won't show us the picture.
Right.
I mean, so there was nowhere to go but up in your case.
Thank you. Yeah. I did set the bar low.
You know what? Somebody told your mother that too. Somebody said, hey, listen, Roseanne, don't worry. There's nowhere to go but up with this kid. Believe me, this is the worst he's going to look.
I don't know about you guys. Do you guys find yourself like you appreciate being around people who are like the type that don't sugarcoat? Because I do. Like most of my closest friends are the guys that, I think about like my hockey buddies like Munson and Jay, and one of my buddies I wrestle with, Cooper. Like these are guys that I tend to like to spend time with because I could get an honest answer from them.
I do. Yeah. And I think people here really appreciate that, even though this culture says sugarcoat like a mofo. I mean, but every time I meet somebody in Seattle, one of the things they like about me, they go, dude, what I love about you is you don't sugarcoat. There's a desire and a great need for people not to sugarcoat around here.
I think it's something good to be honest, but there is a difference between being honest and being a jerk.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I have a friend,
you looking at me?
She's just like,
BJ.
I'm just in my blunt phase right now. And I'm like, no, you're in your phase right now. Like,
is hanging out with you? Because she's being very mean.
Yeah, that's the just saying mentality. When you know you're being a jerk and then you throw blunt phase or just saying, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I mathematically think it's the right thing to say. It may not be, but I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Mathematically speaking, your baby is ugly.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, honest to God. I mean, 4 out of 5 doctors would throw that kid out. I mean, let's be honest. That's how ugly he is. I mean, seriously, they go, let's try again, guys. Just try again. Tony, you know what? Let's just send that kid out to sea.
See, I preface it with, well, all babies are ugly starting off.
That's funny because Rose in Tacoma said my response for babies is, I don't like babies in general, so I don't find any baby cute. Sorry.
Yeah, they all just look like wrinkled raisins.
Now, there's some cute
But I love the California raisins growing up, so I get a kick out of seeing little babies that look like raisins.
Yeah, those freak me out.
Yeah. I mean, there are cute babies out there, and that's why, I mean, you got to know when you don't got one, right? I mean, you really have to. Look, no one's going to put your kid on the Gerber bottle. Why? Because they don't want kids throwing up when they were eating their baby food.
Whoa.
Right?
Somebody said my mom told me I was ugly when I was born, and then when I cleaned up, she thought they switched me for another non-ugly baby.
That does happen on the dark web. All right, I got a question for you.
Is your baby ugly? Yes.
Well, you're just hoping the baby long bottoms, right, Vicky?
Yes.
That's what you're hoping. The dude from Harry Potter that was really, really freaky looking, and then as an adult, the guy's become kind of a hunk. So you hope your kid, just tell your kid, oh yeah, he'll long bottom. He'll work it out. Hey, what happens when someone goes on social media to complain about their neighbors being loud? Yeah, you know what it is. Another edition of Facebook Drama. You're going to hear it at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle, Tacoma. Awesome news on Saturday, October 27th. Bourbon and Bacon Fest is coming your way. That's right, man. You can be there in the day, be there at night, or for both sessions at the Tacoma Armory as distilleries from all over this great nation will be pouring their best spirits. That's right, baby. It's completely partisan. Everybody can agree on great spirits.
And everybody can agree that pork is awesome.
Pork is awesome. Yeah, great restaurants with their favorite bacon treats going with that bourbon. You want more info? You know where to go. KISW.com. That's where you get tickets. It's Bourbon and Bacon Fest, this time in Tacoma, benefiting our friends at Treehouse.
Now it's time for Facebook Drama.
And Facebook Drama is brought to you by Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical. And BJ, once again, here's our opportunity to point out the morons that are on Facebook. There's an actual Facebook post. The drama unfolds because of it, and of course, we're going to act it out. This time around, playing the role of the original poster, Margot, will be you, BJ.
Oh, very nice.
Danny, you will be Josh.
Hooray!
Rev, you'll be Becky.
Sweet.
Vicky, you will be David.
Woo!
I'll play Stephanie. And Sarah, you will be Nick.
Oh, hey.
All right. So once again, Margot is the original poster. So BJ, please take it away.
My neighbors suck. They're up blasting music till past midnight. Today is going to be a long day.
That sounds awful, babe. I'm sorry.
Thanks, honey. I'm definitely sleeping at your place tonight.
Margot, I hate to break it to you, but the music was not blasting till midnight. Everything was off and shut down by quiet time, which is 10 p.m. Please stop being so dramatic.
Oh, Margot just got called the F out.
Shut up, David. No, I didn't. Becky must be delusional or perhaps still drunk because she's talking nonsense.
Really, Margot? Do you keep forgetting that we're still friends on Facebook and I can see all of this? Hashtag dummy.
I'm the hashtag dummy? Do you keep forgetting that you're the one that doesn't know the difference between 10 o'clock and midnight?
You both are hashtag dummies and both terrible neighbors. Margot, you blast music all the effing time and you shake the floor anytime you walk because of your fat ass.
Oh, yeah.
And Becky, you have the loudest, most gross-sounding sex ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think sex could sound gross, did you? Well, you've never heard Becky do it because it's gnarly. Puke face emoji.
Oh, truth bombs being dropped.
And this is why I don't live in an apartment, LOL.
Yeah, apartment living can be a beating.
So I got a house.
Yeah, the best moment ever in my life was getting out of an apartment. And then, granted, the last apartment I had was I was an apartment manager, so it was like a double whammy. Not only did I have to deal with all my neighbors being annoying and loud and whatever, like we all have to do, but then I had to deal with other people having issues with their neighbors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The dumbest stuff sometimes, man. Getting calls at like 3 a.m. This person's doing this. I'm like, you could just solve this by just saying, hey, man, could you stop doing that? But nobody wants a confrontation. So there I am knocking on people's doors.
I learned the hard way that having a woofer, a subwoofer, is not something you can have in an apartment.
Yeah, I found that out too.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, because you can put it on the lowest sound where the volume is hardly hearing, and that woofer still just rumbles the floor anyway, and it's so disappointing. And you got to make the adjustment in life because you're living with all those other people, and it's like, man, it's people are just like jumping around around on the floor, you gotta be careful if you're jumping around or walking hard, because you go, well, the person below me is going to hear that.
You just brought up 2 points. I remember we had a neighbors back when I lived in Queen Anne, and the neighbors above us, they would always listen to Bob Marley, which I had no problem with. But Bob Marley is very bass heavy. If you have, so it was just like after a while, you're just like, I am so mad from this happy bouncy bass line. And then they had a kid. And I swear the kid would climb up on the drawers of whatever cabinets or whatever dressers that they had in their house and just jump off of them and land on the floor. Every once in a while, just sit, doop, doop, doop.
Yeah.
Like, what is he practicing wrestling moves? Like, what is going on?
You get one shot in life to realize that that's what's going on. Yeah, you don't know it because your floor doesn't rumble when you jump the way other people can hear it. I remember I was temporarily living here when I first got this job, and I came into work, and this other guy was also temporarily living there. He just moved there too. I'm like, hey, this is awesome. He goes, yeah, it's not nice stuff. There's this family upstairs. They are so freaking loud. I don't know what it is. I think they got little kids. They're bouncing around all over the floor. And then I found out he was staying in the same building I was. And I'm like, oh, I think that's me, because Joey and Sarah were they were young. Yeah, and that's when I realized, okay, there needs to be a new rule. You ready for my new rule?
Oh, here we go.
There's a new rule.
Do we need to write this one down?
We have to write this down. If you have children, you need to live on the bottom floor of every apartment building. And every apartment building should make that law. And say, yeah, children can come here. You can come here with families, but you live on the bottom floor.
What if they run out of bottom floors?
Well, then they got to go somewhere else.
Oh.
They got to go somewhere else.
Or then do you have the people above them also have children, so they're a little bit more understanding?
Okay, if everyone's okay with that, that's fine.
So non-children people should have the very top.
Yeah.
And work your way down.
It's the same thing with hotels. Like, don't put me in the same area with kids. You got to have a little section, a little wing where, you know those kids will be running around and they're going to be crazy. Don't put the old people next to the kids.
And also don't put the drunk hockey guys in the same areas of a bunch of quiet families.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Because you feel bad, but you're drunk, so you don't know you're being loud. And then all of a sudden the security shows up. Not that this ever happened to me Easter weekend in Spokane.
No.
But then it started knocking your door like, hey, can you lower the music and stop being so loud? Like, you guys are using really colorful language. This family doesn't want to hear that. And you're just like, none of us wanted to be that inconvenience, but we're drunk and we're at a hockey tournament. So you should kind of put things in the right places.
That's why I'm wondering why Walt Disney World is doing what they're doing. Because you're right, Steve. You've got the drunken guys, and there should be a wing or something. And then you've got kids and families, and yet Walt Disney World says that adults now can enjoy an alcoholic treat at Disney Springs, the shopping and dining area of the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. And they'll be having like these boozy push pops at Paddlefish Restaurant.
Like those push-up pop things?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Buzz Pop cocktails, which creates an adult take on some favorite childhood treats. Danny, of course, is our Disney aficionado on this show. Danny, thumbs up or down on this?
Oh, thumbs up all the way up.
Danny likes alcohol and amusement parks. This is like a perfect marriage.
Yeah.
But I remember taking my kids to Disney World, and I mean, if people are just destroyed,
they'll put them on the same level as the kids.
Yeah.
I always say kids are like little drunk adults.
Yeah.
And adults are like little kids when they're drunk.
So you think it'll all work out?
I think it'll be fine. I mean,
All
kids
right.
are puking on rides all the time. Why not an adult?
Okay.
They've had alcohol available at Epcot for the longest time anyway. So it's like, Disneyland didn't allow alcohol but now they're finally doing it. I think this is great.
And they're in like fun little push pops. So
Yeah.
you can go around, you could still go on the rides while enjoying a drink.
And Danny, Disneyland's going to start doing alcohol next year.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
If you guys go to Costco, do you remember the Otter Pops?
Yeah.
They sell alcoholic type Otter Pops at Costco.
Yeah.
That actually is good for a party.
It's awesome.
All right, I can
We used to
appreciate
get
that.
the Flintstones push-up pops back when you remember the ice cream truck would come by, and that was always my go-to. It's like the orange sickle.
Right.
Oh.
Or they do like the red, orangey swirl thing. They eventually stopped doing Flintstones and it went to Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I don't remember that world.
Well, it was when I was a kid.
Old G style was Flintstones. And these are apparently like 15% alcohol. So you can get nice and hammered.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, you're Jell-O shotting Frozen style.
Although people who work at Disney are probably not going to be happy because the roller coasters are going to lead to some certain things coming out of people's bodies.
That's a fact.
That is fantastic, though. Because we're hoping to go to Disney World when we visit my family. And that would be pretty fun.
Oh, yeah.
Walk around. Ooh, when is it supposed to happen, the push-up pops?
Ooh, that's a really good question. It makes it sound like it's happening now.
One person says it's just like the Puyallup Fair. Lots of beer, and then you hit the rides.
They just announced. They announced that you can do it right now at Walt Disney World in Orlando. So I'm thinking it's right now, Steve.
When are they going to start selling these that you can buy them and have them at home?
Yeah.
Well, the Disney store in the mall, when are they going to start serving alcohol? Let's just get that done because you want. Look, Nordstrom has the right idea. They put their little Habitat restaurant in Bellevue Square. And, dude, that's what you need. Your wife and your husband, whoever's the shopper in the family is dropping big bucks at Nordstrom. You need to go right to that bar in Bellevue and just go, well.
Steve, this is pretty exciting for your wife. It's, reading a different article about this, they're gluten-free, vegan, and certified kosher.
Yeah, I heard they're fat-free. You said they were fat-free.
Well, listen, the fat's always free when you're with me, buddy.
This is great.
Yeah.
She can get drunk.
This is great. We can get tanked.
Yes.
Yes,
and
America.
no animals were hurt in the process.
Oh,
They have
except for Goofy when he looks at me the wrong way and I'm drunk.
Oh, yeah.
They have a Moscow Mule sorbet made with vodka,
Sold.
Southern Belle sorbet, which is bourbon whiskey, and a watermelon patch sorbet and Caribbean breeze sorbet. I want them all in my mouth right now.
$14 a pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Geez, $1 for each % of alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah, 14. Of course, it's $14 per pop. They're getting you with the ridiculous prices to get in there, and then there's that.
That's a decent deal.
Yeah.
It's
Well, hold on a
100
second.
calories. That's not bad.
I take that back because I want to go see the Star Wars thing. Never mind. Disney's amazing, and I'd pay anything.
I still say they should have lightsabers filled with alcohol.
Yes.
Steve, that's going to happen. I actually think that idea of yours is pretty genius because you've got all those great hand grenade type of drinks in New Orleans.
Right.
And people love those souvenir containers. A lightsaber, a big just get trash drink would be great.
Right by the end of it, someone's going to have to use the force to pick you up.
That's a fact. Oh, dude, have you guys seen the picture that TriStar Pictures has released of Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
It is trippy how much he looks like Mr. Rogers.
I've had a few friends that are huge Mr. Rogers fans because they sometimes post about it on Facebook, and they were just like, I don't even know how to emotionally handle this right now because they were just so taken aback by how awesome it is.
Dude, it's unbelievable. When they cast him in the role, I thought, all right, well, Tom Hanks is a good actor, but I just never really thought how much he looks like the guy. And now seeing him in the red sweater and the blue shoes, in the khaki pants, and I'm like, holy crap, he looks so much like Mr. Rogers.
I'll be honest, I knew they were making this movie. I didn't know that Tom Hanks was playing Mr. Rogers.
Oh, yeah. You know why? Because there was a documentary that was done, then this movie, so I think a lot of people got confused.
That might be why.
Yeah. The film is billed as, quote, a timely story of kindness triumphing over cynicism and has the working title of You Are My Friend.
You are my friend.
They're saying it's not a straightforward Fred Rogers biopic, but rather a chronicle of the real-life friendship that developed between the host and journalist Tom Junod, who famously formed an emotional bond with Rogers while profiling him for Esquire magazine in 1998.
Bless you. And that seems weird.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather see a full movie about just him.
Yeah.
I wonder if because they knew the documentary was being made and felt like you're going to get that in the documentary.
But why? And some people don't like the documentaries. Not everybody's a documentary person. I like documentaries, but I really had no interest in seeing this Fred Rogers documentary. But if you made like a movie, I would watch that.
I bet that this is still going to be amazing.
You're probably right.
Yeah, I bet it's still going to be amazing. And Tom Hanks, I predict will win an Academy Award for this. I am making the prediction. Everybody loves Mr. Rogers so much. And this country right now, everybody is being so just mean to each other. And Mr. Rogers was the exact opposite of that. I think that people are just going to be loving this, eating this movie up, and wanting to give that guy every award you can.
You know what? Oh, sorry. You know what's weird about this is that Colin Hanks, his son, played Mr. Rogers on Drunk History, recently.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like
hysterical.
how he saved public television. So it's like I don't know, like chicken and egg sort of thing, but like who decided to do what first?
And I have to tell you something.
I hope on Saturday Night Live at some point the two of them like show up and they get into a fight over who's Mr. Rogers.
Oh, that would be
Dressed
great.
as Mr.
Or
Rogers.
like a Funny or Die skit.
Dude, you're right. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, Colin Hanks looks like a great Mr. Rogers, like a young Mr. Rogers. Yeah,
Look at that, dude. Yeah, he's got the haircut and everything. But I still say if a person of today were to watch Mr. Rogers, if a show like that was today, they would think it was the creepiest thing they'd ever see.
Right.
They would be like, this guy needs to be put away.
No, I mean, there was, you know how they do a lot of those videos where they show kids like metal songs or like old school stuff?
Kids react to certain songs. Yeah.
Exactly. And so they did one where a parent was with their kid and kids got to react to Mr. Rogers, and they all loved it.
So the kids love Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, they liked that he had a message, and they liked how approachable he was. So
but what about the parents?
The parents were reminiscing.
Wow. Well, see, yeah, if you remember, I'm saying if you're a young parent and don't know who the hell he is, I think you're like stranger danger if you see his. Because
Mr. Rogers was fine. The issue is Mr. McFeely.
Well,
you might want to change his name.
That was the worst name in the history of children's television, Mr. McFeely. But just the way Fred.
The only thing about
my neighbor.
The only thing weird about Mr. Rogers was when he went to the land of make believe and those puppets. Those puppets
were horrific,
creepy.
Yeah, dude, you're right. The whole thing though, and the train going in the station, and I always looked at it like, this isn't euphemistic, is it? I mean,
no, I just viewed it as Mr. Rogers doing good things, hanging out, being cool to kids, and then at night he just takes a little bit of LSD and has his own little moment.
Yeah,
all right.
With the purple panda.
Yeah.
I mean,
chasing the purple panda.
I know, too. That was that show.
I didn't realize that he voiced a lot of the characters in the neighborhood of Make-Believe.
Oh, yeah, he did, dude.
See, I was young when I watched
it. You could tell, too. He wasn't really great at throwing. I mean, I felt like you could tell it was him. But
you're probably right, but as a kid, I don't know.
I mean,
was that what he sounded like?
Well, that's pretty much what it was. You know, you're like, okay, Fred, really? You couldn't get somebody from Sesame Street to come over and help you out with these voices? All right, buddy.
Man, you got to save money.
Yeah, dude, seriously. And Rev is right. The puppets, because again, it's, you know, when my kids were around, you're growing up, you had Sesame Street with the great puppeteering and Jim Henson's creations. Then you flip over to Mr. Rogers with his, it looked like just somebody got just got trashed and tried to do a plaster of Paris puppet kit. They looked horrific.
They had a creepy vibe to them.
Lady Elaine looked, I mean, she was, if everybody remembers Lady Elaine, she was a female, but she looked like, you know who she reminds me of? Aunt Lydia from Handmaid's Tale. That's who I think they based that character off Lady Elaine. If you don't know, but Aunt Lydia is just a horrific woman on that show. And I think of Lady Elaine every time.
Oh, I remember her. Yeah, dude. It looks like someone threw acid in her face.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Her disposition,
she was drunk all the time.
Yeah, dude, she was a mean puppet. Yeah, she was never happy. I mean, really never, ever happy.
Somebody brought up a good text. I forgot about this until now, but it was one of the greatest skits on Saturday Night Live. What about Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood with Eddie Murphy?
That's right.
Have you ever seen that, Vicky or Danny?
No, I don't.
So you guys know Mr. Rogers, though, right?
Of course.
I hope so. Otherwise, this conversation's been going way over the head.
Making sure. Because without that frame of reference, it might not be nearly as awesome. But you should look up on YouTube. Eddie Murphy did a Saturday Night Live skit where he played basically like the nasty version of Mr. Rogers.
Yeah,
it was called Mr. Robinson. And it was just a dude, questionable antics.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So he says Mr. Rogers is on the PBS app. My daughter loves it and watches it every day.
How about that? I love that kids are still digging it. That's cool.
Well, it says, my daughter and I, we saw the Mr. Rogers postal stamp. My daughter thought he was creepy. I told her I loved the trolley.
See the again. I always, when you grow up and you get to watch the show with fresh eyes, I really think and go, wow. It was just like my favorite show was Lost in Space, and then eventually when you realize the unhealthy relationship that Dr. Smith had with Will Robinson, you're like, okay, man, there's something going on. Wait a minute. It was with adult eyes, you see these shows a little bit differently and go, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Who's this Daniel Tiger? People are talking about Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood as being like the new Mr. Rogers.
It's a spin-off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is he supposed to be like a Mr. Rogers guy?
It was like one of the characters that he had in his show.
Right.
Yeah.
The son of Daniel the Striped Tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh.
Lily liked it when she was a baby, but she grew out
nepotism.
of it.
Nepotism taking over Hollywood.
She's into American Horror Story now, right? That's what Lily wants. Yeah.
Okay. No, I thought she was into the new version of Jersey Shore.
Oh, yeah. Well, those two shows, I mean, the kids love them both.
So Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood is the new thing.
All right. Oh, good for Daniel. I'm not going to be watching this. I don't know. Hey, yesterday, Steve, he did get this one wrong.
A plant that is bioluminescent produces what? Air. No. Honey. No. Honey.
Oxygen.
No.
Yeah, Steve, luminous. It's a fancy word for light. No?
I didn't learn that from Daniel Tiger. That's the problem.
You want a shot at beating Steve? You got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Migs at 847 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. How do I know if bankruptcy is going to provide me with relief? What are the steps for my situation?
There's so much information out there about bankruptcy with the internet and what people have heard from friends and other people that they've talked to about their financial issues or bankruptcy. There's also a lot of bad information out there or urban legends about bankruptcy. In order to determine whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, you need to talk to an attorney that's experienced in bankruptcy. So in order to determine whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, you should talk to an experienced bankruptcy attorney. And my job is not to convince you to file bankruptcy. My job is to help you to make that decision and have all the facts so that you can make an informed decision about whether bankruptcy makes sense for you, what benefits it's going to have for you, and what the downside of filing bankruptcy is.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.